This is Charlie giving you Tuesday's market commentary, and I've done that because I'm doing it today because obviously Monday was bank holiday, so I left yesterday's alone. So let's go into this. I want to go through the three stages of a trader. Before I do that, just as a reminder, I've brought up our Facebook page again because it's really useful for you to, if you use Facebook that is, or Twitter, to follow us because we're putting posts up now which we don't put into necessarily into video updates and things like that. So it's we put up quote of the day and things like that on a Friday, and we post when information's gone out, like the video updates. But it's also little things that we may put out, like here on Thursday. I put in that I was keeping an eye on the dollar yen. And I put that, as you can see, I put that in at 6:45 p.m. and I've placed orders to short. So it looks like there was 29 people saw that post, but I put the orders into short 102.20 to 102.60. Well, if you look at your charts, you'll see that there was a lovely run down. We hit that zone. We hit up to about 50, I think it was. So I had two orders filled and took 110 points and 150 points out of that trade respectively. So it's useful for you to, if you are on Twitter or Facebook, when we post on Facebook, it immediately copies it across to our Twitter account anyway. So if you're not on Facebook, then that's fine. But just if you are, then you'll get to see, and there's all our, I think there's all sorts of pictures everywhere as well and bits and pieces. So we're trying to get more into putting bits and pieces up there, pieces of information as extras, so to speak. So if you're not currently following us on there, it may be worthwhile. We won't inundate with loads and loads of messages all the time, but when we want to put our quotes up or little bits of information about trades we may be doing, may be useful to you. Okay. So let's go into the three stages of a trader, and then I do want to go through the markets because there's a couple of things I want to mention here on Aussie dollar, following up from Friday, and a couple of other markets. So let's go. So what we tend to have as traders is three stages. You have the stage where a trader is losing money, so we've got an equity curve which is diminishing, it's falling, and this is where you have maybe let's say it's 80% of people end up giving up in this zone, and you can't blame them if they're losing money. But the problem is that they've never got to, for whatever reason, they've never got to a stage where they could turn this around. And so and this is what happens generally. You get people get into the markets, may have gone on a stock market training course by a big stock market training course company who are more interested in just teaching them than actually properly trading, and so they come away and then find, oh, hold on a second, this is a lot more difficult than I thought it was, and they end up losing money. They might have made money for a bit, but overall their equity curve rolls over because there's things that they're doing which aren't quite right, and they just join that statistic, which is a shame. And then you get the different set of traders whose accounts are doing this. So, and I always say to any trader whose account is essentially going sideways, they might go up for a bit and then drop back for a bit, up for a bit and back, but essentially they're not getting anywhere. But I always say that if you can get to that stage, then you're very close to being successful as a trader, because if you can be going sideways, it means that something you're doing is right, but it's just a few tweaks that you need in order for this equity curve to carry on moving up. The only problem is that probably another 10% of people give up during this phase as well, because they get again, they just get a bit frustrated because they think, oh, I'm just going sideways, it's not working for me, I can't make any money from this, because I make a bit of money, I give it back, and they're in this cycle and they can't crack that. But then you get the remaining 10% of people who, and some people go straight into this. They don't actually have losing periods, and if you've had reasonable training, then you should get straight into this, and be able to skip this stage if you're lucky. So and then you get the final 10% of people who have been through this stage but have actually persevered with it, and that's what it all comes down to in the end. It's perseverance and stubbornness to carry on, rather than just saying, oh, this isn't working for me, I'm going to give up. And those are the people that then figure out what it is that's been missing, and in order to get to this a more steady equity curve. Obviously it doesn't quite work like that, obviously it's going to be zigzagging all the way up, but and you can have drawdowns and all of that along the way, but you're effectively making money. And so those are the three stages. And so what obviously anyone who's in a losing stage obviously wants to skip or come down to this stage, but usually there's something that's missing if they're in that stage. Usually there's something that's not quite right. Usually it's psychology. It's they're making too many mistakes, and obviously mistakes come from our decisions. And and likewise with this, with people who are going sideways, quite often it's just the odd tweak, and I always relate it to like the British cycling team, the Olympic cycling team, and the tiniest things, the tiniest details they used to look at in order to ensure that they could improve their performance. And sometimes that can be what it is. It's just the tiniest of details, and that's going to make the difference between going sideways and breaking out to success. And then you've got these guys who are making money, and so don't get me wrong, they may still have the odd blip, and where psychologically they may think, oh God, I don't know, can I turn this around again? I need to, I can't quite. I've just had a, I don't know, for argument's sake, you're a swing trader, or let's say you're a day trader, just had a losing week, or losing couple of weeks overall. Oh, have I lost my mojo, whatever. And so there's always going to be little challenges along the way, but generally those guys are making it. So they've still always got to keep their mentality, their mindset in check, but essentially they know the right way to do it. And certainly in the earlier stages it's more like that, because you can also have people who go through I talked about the belief stage as well. They're making money, but they're not entirely believing that it's going to last forever. And then you get to a point when you've been doing it for long enough where you just know that's just where you are, and you might have to adapt to the markets as the markets change periodically, but you know how to do it. So hopefully that's of some use to you, the three stages of the market trader. Eh? All right, let's go into the markets, and let's start off with the Aussie dollar, because remember on when I did the commentary on Thursday, it was on this candle here, and I said, look, I can see the potential for us to have this bounce because we've got this divergence. Sorry, I replayed the video this morning just to have a quick look and see what I said, and didn't realise that I wasn't showing the indicators off the bottom of the screen, was I? So you couldn't see the divergence. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention there. So let me actually do that. See if I can find the right. Now I'm going to show you that divergence. Oops, if I can. Right, okay. Now if I actually squeeze this up, you'll see what I was looking at. There you go. So there's the divergence in play here. Right, okay, so let's bring that back down because it's too squeezed when it's like that. Okay, that should be right. And do that and that. Right. So this is where we are now, daily charts. I said, look, you've got to be careful. We may want to come back to test the lower band, which is exactly what's happened. And now we're just bouncing off of that lower band. So nothing's changed. This is what I thought could well happen. And so I think what will happen now is, I said it could faff around for a few days, and it's exactly what's happening here. But I think what is going to be on a slow bleed higher actually over the coming week or two, and so I'm going to be looking out for opportunities to establish longs on the Aussie dollar. I think that one's going to certainly have some upside potential there, so that's how I'm looking at it. Obviously, if I'm wrong, it could break these intraday lows here on these 2 days, but I suspect that if it does, it'll just be a spike down again and then come back up again. So that's how I'm looking at that. And if I'm wrong, we get a full close below these, then I'd say that obviously I'm wrong. But I think that's what's going to happen here. I think we at least need to test the upper band at the very least, because we haven't tested that for quite a long time. And I think that we've probably got tests of higher levels to come yet. So that's Aussie dollar. Let's have a look at the S&P, because the S&P, like we said, we had that nice big key reversal bar, and then we've put in a couple of other reversals going back to the upside. And if I look at my off screen, my futures charts this morning, I think it's up this morning. Yes, it is. But it's up. Where are we at? 1662. So it's up at this sort of price range here at the moment. Currently, as I'm talking about this, but unless we take out this high, then I just see this as noise before it rolls over again. So that's all I'm seeing is at the moment. I'll stick by that, and unless we get unless we can break above that prior high. So for now, that's all I'm seeing is that we're just playing around here before it's going to roll and do a secondary move off of that. So watch that one on the S&P. Let's come back to oil again because we've been watching this one for a few weeks. Oops, that's gold. I'm not interested in that. Oil, it's all gone. There it is. Now all backed off again last week as we talked about, but again you've got to keep watching this one because I still think that this one eventually is going to come up to break those highs. So keep your eye on that one. And is there anything more I want to mention? We can go and have a look at cable because Euro I'm just not interested in too much. Cable, we're just playing around with these bands. We came into the bands, we nearly got to the upper band there, and we've just come back and we're retesting these lower bands again at the moment. So I think that it's just playing around. It could just be a slow day today, and so that could be the case with being a holiday week. So we'll have to see. But I suspect, actually, yeah, I'd like to see us come back up to the upper band at that, and that's about it at the moment. I'm not having too much of a view right now on the pound or the euro, so I think I'll just leave it at that for now. But Aussie dollar, I do see the potential in it, and the S&P we're seeing that potential as well. So anyway, I shall leave it at that. Have a fabulous few days. I think Kim will be back in touch tomorrow if he's around. I don't know if he's here this week or not. I'm not sure because of the school holidays. Anyway, I shall speak to you nevertheless on Friday.